Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of the Sitcast, aka the Siblings and Cardboard Podcast. I'm your host, Noah, joined by my faithful buddies and co-hosts, Thomas and Justin, who's always a regular here, but specifically standing in for Donnie, who will not be joining us as he's got some adult things to do, but that's okay, Donnie. We miss you. You're here with us in spirit. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first timer just testing the waters, we are all Siblings and Cardboard. Guys, how have things been? Welcome to Hunted. Welcome to the world of Fang and... Well, that's all I got. Fang and... Who's the other one? Oh, my lord. Look at this. This is
Syndra and Slippy and Mario.
I don't know why I wanted to say Cersei so bad. It's the musical we've been listening to. I knew it was a C word.
We can come up with fun names for all of them except Fang. It's just Fang.
I like Fang.
We got Fang, Cindy, Slippy, and
Fang is short enough.
Mario.
Fang's good.
Yeah.
I missed all the pre-releases.
That's okay, me too.
We went up to the lake house to hang out with a friend on Friday, and that took up our Friday and Saturday. And then I came back Sunday and staying up too late playing board games, and then the drive back home just had me zonked. I couldn't make myself... I don't think I could even feel safe making that 60-minute drive all the way to Showcase.
I think that's what we call a good problem.
I don't know. I wish I would have gone. I'm going to Memphis this weekend. If I decide to play any sealed events, they'll literally be the first time I'm seeing some of these cards personally.
Yeah, I got to go to 2 of them. I only got to play in 1. I was on the wait list for Friday night, but everybody actually showed up. So
that busy.
I just watched. Yeah, I watched some people open packs, hung out for a little bit. The pull rate in this set seems to be absolutely insane. On Friday night, we had a EA shelter, multiple masks, multiple marvels, and a lot of really good hit majestics as well. I was shocked. And then more of the same at the pre-release on Saturday that I actually got to play in.
Wow, that's good considering packs are a little bit more expensive per, right?
Yeah.
The MSRP enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to see. I'd like to see when some of the data starts coming out, what the exact pull rates are. I know there's a couple people out there who collate that.
Yeah, we'll find out.
So, extended shelter, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
How much is that card worth? Isn't the card just base almost $70, before the set even comes out?
66.
And extended shelter has to be well over 100.
Noah, how much is extended shelter looking at right now?
Oh,
for
okay.
For pre-sale.
Is this our segue? Is this it?
It could be unless we're just catching you off guard and you weren't
No.
about it. Shelter
I'm ready.
For the storm.
I'm ready all the time. But let me go pull the.
I'm so protected from this storm by not buying anything.
I had the regular one up, but the EA right now, there aren't any listed at all. I don't think anybody really wants to part with them. But there are some non-EAs. I would assume that the EA is probably very high right now. I'd put it somewhere in the 150 to 200 range. I think you could probably conceivably ask 225, 250 in trade value and probably still get away with it too. That might be criminal level larceny later, but this is the tax for trying to get a card super early. And so we are going to talk a little bit about getting cards before Memphis if people want to play some of the new heroes, if they just want to have the cards in hand to mess around with and they don't like proxies. But we'll definitely go into some of the pricing of the cards. But there are no EAs. The regular Shelter the Storm is $66. There are exactly 3 of... Well, no, not 3 of them. There are exactly 14. It's either about $68 with shipping or $70, and there's 10 of those at $70, and then they jump up to $75. So I'm assuming these are in hand. They don't necessarily specify, but I like to assume if you're trying to list for pre-sale on TCG Player, you have them in hand. Hopefully, but double check. If anybody out there is trying to buy these early from TCG Player, always make sure that those things are in hand. Last thing you want to do is, assume something and then not get them in time. But the card's going to be nuts. I really think that this is going to be a card that settles out. I mean, wow, $30-$40 non-foil, somewhere around the same
minimum.
I mean, like there's a chance we see it fall down 25-ish, 30 in some cases if people are like dumping, but this is a generic defense reaction that is a 0 for 4 with a text box that does other things other than just I need to put it in my arsenal. And so it is a universal defense reaction. Just so everybody understands, this is a 0 for 4 red generic defense reaction that has instant discard this. The next 3 times you would be dealt 1 damage this turn, prevent 1 of that damage. And so you
exactly
could prevent,
what it reads, is it?
Discard this. The next 3 times you would be dealt damage this turn,
okay.
Prevent 1 of that damage.
Okay, that's a completely different card text. Because there are some things that specify you're dealt exactly 1, prevent that 1.
Yeah, no, sorry. Prevent 1 of that damage. So it does not need to just be, it's not brush off. It does not need to be instance of 1. It can be a prevention of 1 3 times. So dagger hits, pings from arcane. I mean, it is super universal. It's great toolbox.
I don't think this card's
nobody wants to take anymore.
I don't think this card's ever going to go below 50, personally.
Yeah, once like. Yeah,
but there's a limit, right? So, I mean, like, once you have 3 of them, do you know what I mean? Like, once you have 3 sync belows, if you really just want to move them between the decks, like, do you really need 96 sync belows?
Well, hold on. How much is Warmongers?
$80.
There you go.
Roughly.
Yeah, my thing is the difference between it and Warmongers for me is there is a budget option replacement for it in Fate Foreseen, where you are just trying to have 6 0 for 4 D reacts in your deck. That is your option. Like, you can do that. And a lot of the classes have really good D reacts now. Like the Earth Heroes, we have Rootbound Carapace, Aurora's playing Sigil of Suffering, Viscerai's playing Reduce, Haunting Rendition. Riptide has all his traps. The Assassins are playing traps again. So, like, there are other options. So D reacts 4 through 6 are hopefully not going to be too expensive, but like that is a card that every single deck is going to have to at least look at every single time you're deck building and just be like, am I playing this card?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not unlikely that you will see all 9 of these 0 for 4s in some decks, which I think is a problem. But
kind of depends on meta, right? Like how much these defense reactions are. Because, like, okay, imagine a world where the best decks in the format run Kiss of Death, right? Shelter from the Storm just becomes this crazy thing that prevents you from getting hit with a toxicity for 5 at the end of the game. Like,
yeah.
Because I don't know if you've played into Slippy or Marionette yet, but once 8 health is the safe number of health. Anything below 8, you're just dead. Because they play toxicity, they play Kiss of Death, they flick knives the Kiss of Death, and you just die from 7. It's actually it's kind of busted. So it's almost unfair. Like it is unavoidable death unless you have a way to prevent, and the only good way to do those 1 preventions really is Shelter. Like every other card has such high deck tax. Like Oasis Respite, you would argue might be an okay alternative, right? But it's not. You have to pay 1.
Oh no, I have a judge question I need to ask someone else now. If Oasis
if you ace, yeah, it does 3. Does the 4th point carry over to the flick knife? I would guess it would, because it's the same source, right?
I don't know. There is currently, we'll talk about it later, but we're going to do the market minute stuff.
No, that's a relevant judge question because we don't know if it's flick dealing it or if it's the actual.
It's always the dagger dealing it.
Right, because it says the dagger has hit, right?
It's always right. So it should be that target source. So
it should prevent the next 4 coming from that source.
I don't think it's flick knives doing it. I think it's the dagger.
Yeah.
Or the Kiss of Death.
Yeah, because the dagger is thrown and the dagger.
You're throwing the dagger at it, and the dagger has hit. Yeah. No, this
solid judge question though, because it is kind of neat
is.
if they don't pump the Kiss of Death at all. It is a 1 card covers the entire Kiss of Death effect.
Yeah,
because it covers the 3, and then they can't flick it. I mean, they're not going to, like, if they can't pump it to eat up the rest of the 4. That's cool.
There's there's good warrior cards as well. Take It on the Chin's another decent prevention one. You get something for it too. So
Haunted Rendition.
Some classes have answers for it. It's just not ideal in most situations.
Mental Block. That's a good card, right?
Yeah, if only wizards weren't so synergistic.
What's next?
All right, so let's get through some of the hunteds, and then we'll talk about like pre-sale stuff, and then we'll talk about just some other things that are kind of going up as a result of the hunted and other various things. So Blood Spattered Vest, this is the legendary, these are rainbow foils. That's the foil chest piece for Assassin Ninja. This is the one where it's getting the stain counters. Once it gets 3 stain counters, it's destroyed. And this is whenever a dagger you control hits, you may gain 1 resource and put a stain counter. If there are 3 or more, you destroy it. That's pre-selling at $195 right now for rainbow foil. Not surprising. You want to get in time. There's going to be attacks. Let's see here. What's
like $195 for the rainbow foil.
For the rainbow foil.
Wow.
Holy, okay.
I mean, it's really good.
It's so good. I thought it was like a Ninja exclusive thing, and then we watched that showcase thing where they were running it in the Assassins. Like, maybe I should try this in the Assassins, and all of a sudden it's insane.
Why can't I find this card? I wanted to look at it too.
It's such a pretty card.
Blood Spattered Vest. It's awesome.
Yeah, but it's hard to search for some reason. There's so many other things that pop up with blood spattered. Anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised. I think this is going to be a staple to anyone who can run flick knives. It's just like an on-demand deal 1 damage, gain 1 resource out of nowhere.
Yeah,
no downside. Like on demand. Yeah, 1 damage, 1 resource.
That is, when you think about a turn extension. So need the extra resource. Flick knives, you get the dagger, you can attack, react off of that. I'm assuming it all comes in at the same time. So in that same chain link, I can gain the resource and then attack, react off the resource and apply it, or what I need to.
Yeah.
Oh no, because you could flick a dagger from a non-active chain.
You flick, you let it resolve.
Right.
All right, cool. I got it. Now the resource has resolved, and then I get to do the thing again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Did we mention that it's not a once per turn effect?
Yeah, you just keep doing it.
Which is also insane. Hit with a dagger, get 1 resource. Flick the dagger, get another resource. Like
dagger, bittering thorns, free flying kick is pretty good.
Wow. Yeah.
That is. Holy heck, that is quite a free flying.
That's a really aggressive line. You but that is a ton of damage off of a blue pitch.
Cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Quick dodge flexors. These are the generic boots that everybody is probably going to want about 900 copies of them because they're never going to be bad. Generic equipment legs. Wow, $182 right now for those. In rainbow foil, not surprising. They're probably up there in terms of craziness and in terms of value with Valiant Dynamo, just done in a very short span rather than over the course of a game. So not exactly surprised to see them with that pre-sale price tag. We already talked about Shelter. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, I think they have tested worse than I thought they would be, but I also expected them to be insane, like hideously broken. And they're good. They're just good.
That's good. I mean, I think they read on paper in theory like they're going to be insane. Crazy. Yeah. But I think it's one of those cards where you end up using it at a time, and then you have to figure out after the game if there was another time that you could have used it to get like a little bit more value, and you realize, like that's pulling it, like that's semantics. Like it was good at the time it was used. Could we have gotten maybe 1? Sure, but like it's one of those cards.
I think there's some other cool stuff we're gonna see with it. Like one idea I thought about was the fact, 1, it's defense reaction. So you can use it to cover things up at the last second. But another concept I thought about, you can pitch a blue to break a frostbite and still block 4. Just potentially really strong too. So if you like got aggro Jarl swinging into you with like a zealous belting into something else, it's possible to actually get rid of a frostbite and still get like really good advantage out of that blue.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, I think it's a great card. Good cost curve, fits in there. D-React equipment is, I guess, just the next generation. So here we go. We'll just run through. So dual threat, $25 pre-sale. That is the yellow card that once a non-action or an action, you get both effects. Or weapon. Weapon this turn. The next attack action card is +3 if you attack with an attack action. The next weapon. So I think the card's amazing.
Yeah,
I actually think that card will break the game going forward. It is generic. I just want everybody to understand that it is generic.
Also yellow.
Yeah.
And so it has 3.
It's just like nimblism, 3. But better in every way. Like, dude, it's a little bit more strict in how you use it, but like any hero that has a weapon with go again, this is just a +3 pump for swinging your weapon out of no. Like, it seems the floors of this card seems great.
This is a wild card.
That card's insane. I have no thought.
Yeah.
Card's crazy.
Let's see here. Throw daggers, $20 on pre-sale. Pain in the backside is also $20. A lot of these other majestics, call the rune bait, shadow rune blade action from the extended is also $20. I think there's some other really cool expansion slots that were unveiled that are going to probably get quite a good price tag. I think some of them are going to be conditional upon the hero actually doing something within the meta, but most of them are very good expansion slot cards.
I think I'd be happy spending $60 on a playset of Culls. I'd hope that's about what they're worth.
You think Culls is a $20 card?
I think so. I think the power level's there. It's got uses in both Chain and Vincent. It's very strong. God, it's cracked Chain. Like just absolutely nuts in his deck. So I think it's there. I would spend $60 on a playset, especially if I'm going to play Vincent in Memphis. I would definitely just walk up to a vendor, spend $60, and have 3 Culls to play in the CC calling right there.
Dude, if the only upgrade you have to do this weekend is $60, you did it. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, I would.
I think I'm buying a quiver. How much does the quiver cost? Is it enchanted quiver?
The new quiver? Let's see.
It's got to be like $10 max.
What is it really called? Enchanted.
Dude, you called the pre-sale price. The pre-sale price is $10.
Yeah, like.
Yep, I'm sitting real happy if I walk up and pick up an enchanted quiver for $10. I just want to go ahead and get a cold foil one. This is gonna be run in every ranger for forever.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so good. I've been playtesting enchanted quiver, and thing is just says +1 to 2 life for free. It's great.
Provoke is pre-selling at around 20. So most of these majestics are sitting around 20, 25. I think Provoke at 20 is a little weird, to be honest. Nobody knows if warriors. Look.
I already told you in the card, Noah. Dude, your warrior upgrades are going to cost you.
I'm very well aware. It's okay. It's a price I'm well happy to play if I get to come back in some fashion with some weapons. I'm excited. Not exactly the version I'd want to play, but we'll have to just deal with it. But yeah, I would say most of your Majestics 2025 right now that aren't the big ticket ones, your legendaries are probably going to run you about 150 to 200, especially those chest pieces, those legs, things like that. So if you're looking for those pre-sale prices, most Marvels too, depends on which ones they are. There is one Marvel on there for, I think it is the, I don't know why I'm guessing when I could go back to it, but it's because I moved the page. It's the only Marvel I saw from it with a price. It's the Redback, the Arachne Redback Marvel, and I believe that is the
That's one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's an Agent of Chaos. This is $100 right now. So
yep, those are going to be hard to put a price tag on because if you're trying to do the full thing, you need 6 of them.
6 of
plus
each.
The base hero. You need Marionetter, and then you need Black Widow, Funnel Web, Redback, Trapdoor, Tarantula, and what's the Orb Weaver one? Spinneret something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Orb Weaver. There we go.
You need the actual marionette, and then you need all 6 of the other ones. So you need 7 Marvels total if you want to play that. You are now a Prism, except instead of having angels or dragons, in Duromai's case, you have Marvel heroes that you swap between. So consider yourselves the Marvel treatment, assassins. You deserve it. But it will be costly. And if you're good, it will be extremely costly. So if you guys see Marvels for about $100 a piece, you probably want to pick them up because the chances of those sitting around $100 is slim to none if that hero is good. Just slim.
I think even if he's not good, all these cards are going to have the assassin tax on. Because even when assassin's not good, everything in the deck costs a fortune.
One of the most expensive decks to play right now is assassin, hands down.
It's also one of the most popular decks by a country mile. People love playing assassin.
And people love new. New's also competing for some of these cards, like Pain in the Backside. That card is great. New.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That's dude, they throw a head jab, and it is just a head jab, and usually you're just like, I'll easily block a head jab. But sometimes you're like, man, there might be a Bonds of Agony after this. But if you don't block it, you're going to take 3 damage, and then the Beckoning Mistveil hits for free. The Beckoning Mistblade. You're just screwed.
They go like dagger, Pain in the Backside levels, and you're just like, sweet, I do hate my life. Yes. Ugh. All right.
The only other one I wanted to look at was the Warrior Helmet. Does everybody know what it's called?
Something Kabuto.
Kabuto?
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to look up the
warrior card that hates on warriors.
Yes. I just want to see what it's pre-selling for. Just take a look.
Kabuto of Imperial Authority.
Oh, it's got an EA? Oh my god. Why did they do this to me?
I mean, you're looking at 175 pre-sale for just the normal. How's the
I know, but it's $250 for the EA right now. And you know what's crazy is that's probably not even that bad because I think EA Traverse, even though this isn't in the same realm, I get it. EA Traverse was wild when it first came out. It's still sitting around 140, 160. Although regular Rainbow Foil Traverse is down to 26. Wild, I know, very crazy. We'll talk about that when we come into the speculations. But I just want to check on that. Let's jump through the rest of these. Nobody should be surprised about the ones I'm going to talk about from the actual game that's out right now. And some of these I have talked about in the past weeks. And in doing this before I forget, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that does the market stuff out there. So I do watch it. I think it's really fun. So people like Sloop Dupe, TCG Ted, Stackswell, Fluke and Box, you guys are great. I mean, anybody else I missed, it's fun. Go ahead and DM me sometimes. I want to come on and talk about the market. We can talk all day about it. We can talk cards. I love this stuff. It's wild. And the data trends are just out of control. But let's jump in. Concealed Blade, no questions asked. $22 right now, still and climbing. It's a way to recover a dagger. You know what I mean? We'll re-equip it in a trick-like fashion. So up 6 and run is your other way. But I don't think that's attack reaction speed. So nope. This is
retrieve.
This is definitely a card you're going to want to have. This is an Assassin Ninja attack reaction. It is a 0/3 blue. So pitches for 3, costs 0 to play, blocks for 3. Target Assassin or Ninja attack action card gains +1. And when this hits, equip a dagger from your inventory. Wild. Although Zephyr Needle is banned, this is still a wild card. Erase Face continues to be in the top conversation. It's up to $24. I think it was that's just one of them. That's a rainbow foil. It's actually pretty cheap. It's a rainbow foil. It's the cheapest one up there. Somebody needs to snag that like quickly. It won't. The sad part is it will not be here by the time this episode airs, but somebody needs to do it. They're $29 for non-foils. I think this card hits 35 plus if it still attacks the meta.
Dang, this card just jumped up in value just recently. I already thought it was really good, and it doubled in price.
Mine sold way long ago around the $15-$20 range. And that's what I was like, people are looking at Erase Face, and then it just kept going. And it's these are the meta defined cards. This is your weakest link. This is your amnesia. This is censor. This is Erase Face's time. Erase Face is a 2 for a cost 2, is a red card, pitches for 1, has 6 attack. When Erase Face hits a hero, cards and tokens they own lose all class and talent types until the end of their next turn. Who does that hit? Anybody looking for specific draconic chain links, anybody looking for the word draconic. I'm just pointing that out because Cinder wants to recur her draconic daggers. Not going to work. If 1, they're not draconic chain links, and 2, they're not draconic anymore. So it is kind of a problem. It is a very good card. And in this aggro meta that we're about to step into, I know there's ways to slow it down, plenty of D-reacts, but in a meta where there's going to be a lot of aggression, the last thing you want on a turn where you don't want to block is for somebody to finish it with Erase Face and force you to block. Otherwise, kind of lose what your class does. So
not only that, if you get hit by an Erase Face as one of these fealty reliant heroes, sometimes you just lose all your fealty tokens just on the spot. If you don't, because you don't have, your cards are no longer draconic, and you have to do one of 2 things to keep your fealty tokens. You either have to make a fealty, or you have to play a draconic card. So if you don't have a fealty generator just that you get for free in your hand, like, this just shuts Fang down. And I think it might even be one of the cards that keeps Fang from being like good, because it's a generic card that everyone can run.
I will say with Fang, you can pop one of your fealties, and it will make your next thing draconic. That does get around it. It works the same way as Brand with Cinderclaw.
Okay. I was about to ask that, and I went back and thank you for that, because I was going to read if it stated the words, because some cards do, they cannot gain them for the remainder of the turn. Erase Face does not stipulate that.
Okay, that's good to know.
So if something else can create a draconic from like a non-talent, then it like, then it'll work. But nothing that's naturally having that title will have it anymore. Right. Something will have to
painful if
bestow
you're not
it again. Yes.
Yep. So, but yeah, Erase Face, I mean, it's going to hit your draconic heroes, which is a big deal. It's going to hit your most of the assassin stuff now calls out stealth, although it still hits your, if New is trying to hit you with a hiss or a venomous bite. Both of those become offline now.
It hits rune blades.
It does still hit the rune blades. It hits all the elemental stuff, which is super annoying for me. And yeah, that's like your like big hits that it's gonna see in this particular meta. But the thing is, that's a huge chunk of what we're going to be seeing this
It's
weekend.
not relevant, but it completely ends a mechanologist's turn.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah. What are you going to boost?
Ooh. No, you're going to block with your boost cards and put down an item.
Yeah. That is exactly what you do when someone throws an Erase Face at you. You block with your 3 blocks, and you put down your items and arsenal a card and hope they don't do it again the next turn.
You're like, well, I wanted to play this game next turn. It's fine.
The next card is all but bought out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listings, but only 3 of them are normals. That's Snag. We've talked about this before. It's back again.
That's a good shot.
With a vengeance. Wild how good this card is. Just wild.
So good right now.
Crucible of War again falls into one of the hard to find sets. So you're going to hear me say this all the time when it comes to these sets, but when people buy cards, when I buy cards, when I'm able to buy cards, I never see Crucible. One, I usually don't touch Crucible because its unlimited set is kind of wacky. At least it has been for a while in terms of what you pull from it. But nobody's readily selling Crucible either. It's a very weird and hard set to find. And this is where it comes out of. So if you're not getting your snags off of, I think they were in History Pack. So I think there's a History Pack version of this. I want to double check that before I give you guys false information. No, there's not. For some reason, there isn't. So Crucible never made it into, at least Snag didn't, into History Pack. The only way you can get it is from Crucible, and it is $28 right now. I don't see it, I don't see it not going up to 30, 35 given the trend, the trend. So especially if it,
I am a notorious Snag hater. I have been a hater of that card since it has been printed. I have hated it since people were trying to run it in Monarch to stop chain, and it didn't stop chain the way you wanted it to. This is the best Snag has ever been. And I don't think it's actually particularly close how good Snag
No,
is right now in comparison to the past.
It's just so good. I mean, I as somebody who, well, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Azalea, and I don't get to run these cards or D-Reacts or anything fun. I just try and hit you harder than you can hit me. And so I don't think about this too much, but I always think when I'm getting absolutely blown out with 3 Justin Nicks, thinking,
I would consider playing Snag and Azalea.
Okay. We could dial that back.
I forgot
Snag doesn't. Yeah, okay. You're not going to block anyway.
Let me
right?
talk you through it real quick. You put it in Arsenal, and you go, okay, if I get an opportunity, I could block with a piece of equipment and snag the Bonds of Agony down to nothing, right?
Right.
If they don't attack with something that's snaggable, you just flip it out.
Azalea.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. No, I honestly, this is the same scenario where I'm running Poppers against Prism or Enigma. I will run the Bastions, and if I'm forced to put it in Arsenal, I just flip it out. Like, who cares? Like,
the nice thing about flipping it out too is
not my Arsenal slot. Like it.
Well, they don't know where it's at when you flip it out. So if the game goes long, if you get in that loop where the new is just blocking over and over again, waiting till you flounder, the turn you finally flounder is honestly probably the turn that you draw the snag, and then you just put it back in Arsenal again anyway.
Right.
You just rinse, repeat. All right, move on.
Yeah. And let's be real. I mean, you get CNC'd, you just let them have it. Like, who cares? I'm not blocking. You're not blocking to save that card. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's a low block. But great card. I just wanted to point out, looking for scrap. I think this is coming in heavy right now. I know it's weird. It's a rare card.
Wait, yeah, I was about to say, is this card?
I know
it's not expensive.
No,
is it?
every assassin deck runs 3 of these things. I could see this card going through the roof.
So right now they're about $2 a card for a rare. I know.
We're in this piles of these somewhere.
Yes. What I was about to say was, you need to go find all yours, because I got to go through all my boxes that are under my bed and go, where are all my looking for scraps?
My favorite thing is the cheapest one by 1 penny is $1.99 for a heavily. What is heavily played on TCG Player? Because like near mint is your lightly played. Lightly played is your heavily played. Heavily played. Dude, this must have been something that they pulled an outsider strat and just played it raw the whole
so
time.
it's gonna like most of the time sellers, at least if they're in good conscience, if I think that something is now lightly played because it has wear, I'll market that, even though most people have literally messaged me and said I would have taken that as near mint. I don't fool around like that. So if something feels off,
looking for a scrap
downgrade it.
Foil is $8. Oh, I need to go find these. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, dude.
Go find these, because I want to pull them out. I want to pull them out and be able to have. People are going to be asking for these. I've already had people DMing me lists of things, and they're in the list, and I'm like, I think they're here somewhere. Gotta find them.
I'm pretty sure, like my outsider foils, I shoved them in a box really tight so that they wouldn't banana.
And I know we have copious amounts of outsiders because I bought that set.
Yeah, bought
too much. But yeah, get your looking for scraps, guys. Seriously. No surprise here. Valiant Dynamo, back in the meta, back up.
Back up to probably, like what, 150?
139 right now for the rainbow foil, 175 for a near mint cold foil. But let me tell you guys, seriously, this card is so insane that if they don't ever ban it, they won't, because Warrior sucks. You got to get yourself a pair. Now, Monarch is one of the most just absolutely dumped set. I mean, there's just copious amounts out there, but still, this will always carry a 160, 175 price tag. If you want to go back to where that meta where Kasai and Dory were all dual wielding around, it jumped up really, really high, up 170, 180. That is like a small ceiling. You've added another dual wield warrior into the meta. Let me just go ahead and say that. And technically, if Olympia ever gets good, there's a potential there too, right? No, card is gross in every warrior deck. Own it. Own it in cold foil, however you want to do it. But go ahead and get it. Like, do it now before it jumps to 200. Same wavelength. Blade Flurry continues to go up. It's $40 a card for a non-foil. This might end up being one of the most expensive Warrior Majestics we've ever had, outside of maybe Glistening, and the only reason is because you can only get it in that one set. You have to pay $30 just to get the box of cards. But Blade Flurry is probably one of the craziest cards ever created, It's a 0 for 4 that's split between 2 attacks, but it works really well if the only thing you're doing is dual wielding and swinging around. So let's be real, it's really good.
I think the fact that it splits between 2 attacks is actually an advantage. Card.
I do too.
It's insane. Card's very good.
Rainbow foils will hit 60 plus, guaranteed. I'm calling it now. And they'll stay about 40, 45. And if Warrior's in meta, $60 for non-foils, easy. Like this is like pre-speculation stuff, guys. That's what I'm saying. There's a next jump.
He's pre-speculating on Viscerai hitting Living Legend.
Right. Grains of Blood Spill. I don't talk about Warrior equipment a lot, but Grains is definitely the de facto. I think there are some insane, crazy cases, maybe, and I'm saying wildly crazy cases where Courage would ever come into play. I have to check on it. I'm pretty sure Courage is just weapon attacks. I don't think it's sword attacks. If it specifies swords, it's not as good as you'd want it to be. But Grains of Blood Spill is just too much value generated over a course of a game in a meta where they don't want to block anyway. Grains is $70 for a rainbow foil. This is up about 39% from the last 3 months. It had a major kind of buy back in November, end of November, early December, around the $50 mark. So for it to be, scaling up, feels pretty good. Once this one is bought for $75-ish with shipping, the next one's $84. So this is a couple buys away from being an $80, $90 chess piece or beyond.
Just to let you know, Courage is swords only.
Oh, well, then there you go. Never mind. Grains is your de facto. Yeah. Congratulations. You've won it. Full send on that Courage.
It's either that or Tunic, but I think Grains is probably better.
Grains is good.
Grains is an extra 3 block. I think in this meta, you want the extra block value and the resource generation at your own kind of disposal. The carry forward thing that the Warrior likes to do, I think will play into that we could talk about it, but the flurry stances, you're trying to set up this insane turn, and so you get to preset. I'm gonna take it on the chin or whatever, that one card that gives you the agility and a vigor token. You do all this stuff, and then you just sit there and you go, next turn we ball, and then you just spill your whole hand out,
and then your Warrior opponent that you're against blocks Kabuto and
absolutely and says, welcome to the most awful mirror match ever, where we both sit there with that headpiece going,
Prisoner's dilemma both ways.
Yep. Oh, man. Last card, just because Donnie's not here, we get to talk about it and I get to see his reaction. It's Wax Off. That's right, Donnie. Once again, I'm going to call you back out on this one. That card is awful. It was at the time. But Wax Off is a $22 non-foil Majestic.
Dude, I'm pretty sure the second Zen hits Living Legend, this card's gone.
Through the roof. To the moon, no I say with Wax Off. To the moon.
Are you sure about that one?
$25 to $30 it hits easily. What, me or him?
No, Thomas. I'm not saying it disappears when Zen goes.
Oh, no.
Well, who's going to play it? Syndra doesn't play this, does she?
Ira.
I don't think... Does Ira have space for it?
Ira's got space for everything. Hero in the game.
But this blocks too.
And
creates
the red Wax Off versus Assassins is a 5 block.
Okay. Yes, that's true. Wax On is a very good blocking card in some matchup. I don't know. I've never seen an Ira play this, but I guess I could see Ira playing it. Sure. And Ira's going to be around for at least a minute.
I've been Zen stated by Iras more than I want to admit as Viscerai. And every single time I just look at it and I'm just like, God,
to be fair, I know everybody wishes that they could play this combination of cards versus Viscerai. Everybody.
Yes. Yes. So it is a set of cards that if the pings and all the 1 points of damages are problematic for Ira.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe she has a bad Florian matchup and bad Assassin matchup or something, or wants to shore those up. She could just play Wax On and off and move on with her day.
From my experience, Florian into her is pretty tough for the Florian. The Kodachis are just obscene.
Yes, I agree, but we'll find out more.
Only thing else I have is a speculation, and I'm done with that. And it's a real. This is a real doozy. I think you guys are gonna love this. This is a long con, please. This is not tomorrow. This is a while. Meridian Pathways. We know LSS has a little bit of an obsession with feet, at least from what we've seen. And so there's no way legendary. They are Mystic Illusionist Equipment Lakes. Yes, I understand what I'm saying when I'm targeting this, but I want you to understand they were designed with a reason. Mystic isn't going anywhere. They're illusionists, and their feet. They're $7 a piece right now. It's criminal. It's criminal. They go below $5 all the time. So you buy them around the $5 to $7 mark. I promise, just sit on them for maybe like a year. You'll thank me later. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead. Take care. Just don't buy them all, though. I want a couple. Like 20 of them.
Lowest sell price, $5.49. Wow.
That's a good spec just for like when Enigma 2 comes out. Like,
right.
People, even if it's just the hype, like people are gonna buy a pair of them at $30, and then you just made 6x.
Just get them in slowly. Don't go crazy. But there's your little speculation. I thought that was a little fun one. I think that's criminally low for how good that card is. And there's still there's more to flesh out with the Mystic mechanic. So now you guys can seal me up.
Hopefully not a lot more. I think I'm still kind of like stunned because of last Mystic.
Who knows? There might be Armory deck and insert here.
Zen 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well, they need the illusionist on Fractal, whatever it is. The other illusionist that we don't have yet.
Samira or whatever her name is.
Yep. Yeah, we need. Yeah. So good speculation, guys. I'm telling you, you're out there. You know it. We're gonna have plenty of pathways. We'll compare binders later. Who has more?
Do they just make a Mystic Brute and it's all blue 5s?
Oh,
and just make everybody's like miserable.
Let me tell you,
that's such a silly concept.
like a Brute Shaman Mystic. That'd be cool. No, that would be cool. They got to do something with the Brute class. Rhinar.
Can you imagine Rhinar wearing Traverse the Universe?
Yeah, we'd all be having a terrible time. No, and if he kept intimidating,
you go blood up spells, you discard chi, and we all move on. Like, oh, what a nightmare! Oh no, we'll figure it out.
Wild Ride discards chi, passes turn.
Yep. Good deck.
But how was sealed? You were the one that played it, Justin. You were probably the only one here that got introduced with the pack distribution, the deck. So take us through some of the thought process. It's sealed, so it's a little more.
This is stuff I need to know.
Yeah, but talk us through.
I have an event this weekend.
Oh boy, sealed is. If you want to talk about pack distribution, good luck. It seems like there's a track of the first 7 cards are your class cards, where it's like a 2-2-3 split, and it'll go like. If your first card is Ninja, you're gonna have 3 Ninja cards in the pack. If your first card's Warrior, you have 3 Warrior cards in the pack, that kind of thing. So that's your first 7 cards. The back 3 cards are still your foil, rare plus. And then the remaining slots in the pack, so we've accounted for 10 of the slots. The remaining 4 slots, it is 1 is guaranteed equipment, and then the other 3 are like hybrid, generic, or draconic, but not guaranteed to be like, it's not guaranteed what those are. So it could be like generic, hybrid equipment. It can be, and then you have a normal equipment slot as well. Or you can have like draconic equipment, hybrid, draconic equipment. Or you can do like generic, or literally just like straight up like generic, hybrid, draconic, and then you have that equipment slot. So like figuring out the packs is a little bit touch and go-y. You're gonna actually have to know which pieces of equipment come from which slots if you're doing a draft, because certain pieces of equipment are in certain slots, and that gets a little ugly.
Interesting.
But actually playing it, it's a fast format. It's much faster than what we've had recently. It's faster than, oh geez, what was the last fast format we had?
What do you consider fast?
Like all fast, unlimited? Gas, no brakes.
Yeah, the last truly fast format that I can think of, like Benji mirrors.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Outsiders to me, depending on which heroes you got it with, felt pretty quick.
It was literally only Benji. Every other deck played pretty long. Like the way you won with Azuri was usually by outlasting your opponent. Riptide, you wanted like to get obscene value off like 4 or 5 year traps. And then Azalea, the best way to win was to actually get down to that like last arrow for a guaranteed flip to win.
Yeah, you just keep blind flipping arrows at the end of the game. But no, so the fastest format ever was Uprising. I don't think I ever saw a game of Uprising go past turn 3.5. So like,
a lot of
because like,
fives.
Is that this
well,
fast?
even if it wasn't Fi Icelander, just like going like Blue Ice Bolt out of Arsenal plus Waning Moon for 6 in a format with like AB1 max was always like a thing that you had to deal with. This format I don't think is that fast. I think you're looking at like 5 turn games on average.
Mm-hmm.
It feels pretty good.
There isn't a true like Mirror Guy or Germinate level bomb from like what I have felt and what I have seen so far. So that is good. However, everything is really powerful. Like
Right.
even Arachne feels like an aggro deck if you like get the right packs.
Are there any
And
like rare or common bombs that you're kind of looking for that like really define what deck you're gonna play?
yeah, so my sealed deck day 2 or day 2, whatever. The Saturday pre-release that I did. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. My
No,
poor brain
it's
just is
so
like I
it's
went on Friday, I
okay.
went on Saturday, so it's day 2. Anyways, the second pre-release that I went to, um, I opened up Wrath of Retribution, which by itself is like a really, really good limited card because if even if you just play it straight up,
Mm-hmm.
it's a 3 cost, 3 power. It gets reduced for each Draconic Chain Link in cost. So if it's Chain Link 4, it's free. That would be, and the previous ones are Draconic. Um, it increases your dagger's power by 1, and their cost is reduced by 1. So basically, you swing it for 3, you go dagger for 2, dagger for 2, right? Off of blue, and it's a funny 3 card 7 or 2 card 7, which is good, and it's really good and limited because you're obviously doing it over a lot of chain
Oh
links and all
man.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and this is a rare.
So
So you could
yeah,
realistically
that's a
see
rare.
multiples of these.
Yes, I had that card and I had Blood Runs Deep, and when you combine those 2 cards together, it's a 3 card 15. And I just won a bunch of games with that. So like, but even without that combo, like while I was waiting for that combo to show up, your turns feel really powerful. Juggling the fealty mechanic and like marking in limited feels super, super good in sealed. I can't speak on draft yet. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know draft. I think in drafting, actually getting like the marking cards is going to be much harder because those feel like premiums, especially the defense reactions.
Uh,
Smoke out
yeah, Smokeout's one of them.
and yeah, smoke out and whatever the Arachne one is, the lair of the spider or
Mm.
the spider's den or something like that. The ones that
Yeah, you're
mark
correct.
on go against.
You're correct.
Yeah,
Lair of the
yeah,
Spider.
yeah. Those are super important cards because just getting to mark defensively and start your turn with them marked just opens up your turn so much. Defense reactions are so insanely important in general. Like,
I see people testing Lair of the Spider in Constructed. I'm
yeah,
not even surprised. Like
yeah.
it.
I've seen Lair of the Spider and Smoke Out being tested in constructed. They're good. They're just good cards because marking it's like Rootbound Carapace in Rosetta,
Mhm.
where it progresses your game plan without consuming your action point and or like needing to be done offensively. And there's so many attack reactions in this format that like defense reactions are a huge deal.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, how good is like a couple of cards like Sigil of Solace and like the Leapfrog equipment pieces?
Leapfrog equipment is really, really good. I liked it a lot because its base is just Blade Break. But if someone does like pump a dagger to like 11, which happened, you just can oops all leapfrog, and here's 3 block out of nowhere, plus a defense reaction, and it's like, oh, well, that was my big push, and I only got 2 damage across because you already gave me a card. So I value a lot of those really, really well. There's an armor set that it's like if it's blocking a dagger, it gets +1.
Yeah, that's
They're Bardwell.
the generic one. What this? Yeah, the Blade Beckoner set. Blade Beckoner.
Yes. All the Blade Beckoner equipment is sweet. They are awesome because if you do not know how that works, it's Guardwell. So it's whatever its defense value is at the time is whatever gets minused, right?
Yeah.
So if you put it in front of an attack action first, Guardwell goes off, it goes down to 0. And then you put it in front of a dagger, its clause of, and it's at 0 at that point, its clause of if this is defending a dagger, this now blocks 2, it now goes up to 1, and it's a block 2
Dang,
on 2 instances.
these things, this is good. This is like really
Yeah,
good. A 2 block and
yeah,
limited is strong.
yes.
Wait,
I
so
think
it blocks the 1 and then
It's a Guardwell 1, meaning if you block a normal attack with it, it's only got a guard of 1, so it gets 1/1 counter. And then it has the clause that says this gets it has a clause that says this gets +1 defense when defending a weapon attack. So it'll get 1/1 counter, and then when you defend the weapon, it goes up by 1, and you could block a weapon for 1. So you could block an attack for 1, cover a breakpoint, and then block a weapon for 1 later. It's really
or
strong.
versus Fang, you just throw it in front of a dagger, and then it blocks 2 immediately, and then it's Guardwelled, but like to 0 or -1 technically. But like, who cares? It already blocked 2 on a dagger, which is sweet.
All right.
Like, I think the shoes and the head of that is the most important because the resource chest piece is crazy for the Draconic heroes. It's just gain a resource. You can only play Draconic cards for the rest of this turn, but you don't have to start the turn with it. So you can just dump your whole hand, close the chain, activate the chess piece, play a 1 for 5.
Yeah, that's Code of Allegiance, right?
Yes. Yep.
So you can play any of your non-draconic cards first.
Yep.
Close the
then
chain,
you close
destroy
the chain. Yep, play it. And the resource cheating chests are always good and limited. They continue to be good and limited. Loved it. Deadly Digits, I think, is almost mandatory to play Assassin. It's really good in Syndra. Like, Deadly Digits is a pack one, pick one card in draft for sure.
Danger Digits, right?
Danger Digits or Deadly Digits?
I like
there two?
I like
the one with the kunai
digits.
behind his back. It's Danger Digits.
Yeah. It's Flick Knives at home.
Yes, it's Baby Flick Knives. Attack reaction, destroy this target dagger you control that isn't on the active chain link, deals 1 damage to the defending hero. If the damage is dealt this way, the dagger has hit, destroy the dagger.
Yeah. That card feels, especially for Arachne, like it might be mandatory. The only Arachnes I saw doing well in sealed were, we said Deadly Digits is the one. I've been mixing most
Danger
of
Digits.
Danger Digits, yeah, Danger Digits. Yeah, the only Arachnes that I saw doing well were Danger Digit Arachnes. But in Syndra, just like getting to throw that dagger to recur them both back for free is such a big deal in Limited. Because kunai management in Syndra is kind of hard. In Limited specifically. You kind of end up in this like weird game state where like you always have one kunai, but you'd never have the other. It's like very rare that you end up having both of them at the end of your turn.
And so why is that? Like, it's just hard to recur both of them.
It's hard to recur both of them. Kind of how like your cost curve works out. You end up usually doing like 2 1-cost things. So it'll usually be like a lot of the lines that I had to take were like Dust Runner Outlaw, Kunai, the 1 for 4 that if the previous chain link was Draconic, this gets +1, right? Or you do like Dust Runner Outlaw, Kunai for the Drakai, or Mark Hunt the Hunter, or whatever it's called, the 1 for 5s, all the 1 for 5 chain enders. Because there's not actually that many like true head jabs. You have the block 3 one that marks, you have Run and Renegade, you have the 0 for 2, or the head jab that makes a fealty. And then you have like a bunch of really conditional ones that are like hard to get off. So you kind of end up in these like weird game states where it's a lot of 1-costs and you just only have like a kunai because of that.
So we talked about defense reactions. What are the best attack reactions to be looking for?
Oh, buddy. Okay. Anything that makes fealty and Fang is crazy.
Okay.
Anything that it is a payoff to mark. Like there's that one that's like if it's attacking a marked hero, it's a 0 for 4. That one was very solid. I got hit for 4 with that thing because they did the combination. It was like smoke out into that thing, and I was like, oh no,
Is it
that hurt
like
a
End
lot.
the Hunt or something Hunt, right?
Yeah, it's like it looks like that scene from Arcane if you've watched that show where like
Hunt's End.
one of the bad guys, yeah, he has like a needle that gets like getting stuck into his eye.
Oh no,
If you
this
know,
there must be a different one because Hunt's End is the majestic. So I guess if you
no,
have
it's not
that,
that
you're
one.
doing pretty
No, no, no,
good. Hunt's End is
no.
crazy though.
Oh no,
There's a
you're talking.
hybrid.
Yeah. You're talking about push the point,
Give me a second. Let me look through these things.
pinpoint, something like that.
Pinpoint, something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the one where the art is literally
To
the
the
To the
dagger.
point.
To the
To the
point.
point.
To the point. By the way,
Yep.
art is fantastic on that card.
Target dagger gets +3 if the defending hero is marked, instead it gets +4. Wow, this is incredible. Like
Yep.
it's got such a low floor.
Yep. The issue is that it's not draconic, but you almost don't care because it hurts a lot.
It's sneaky
Hard to
3
get.
damage.
Yeah. Fang felt like the easiest one to have. Like, if you're Polish medium, you probably end up playing Fang. Was kind of how I felt. That like you want 8-ish draconic attack reactions. You might be able to get away with 6 if you have enough like marking stuff to do. But he felt really good and looked pretty good most of the time.
Right, because you just need
Syndra,
either a draconic instant or a draconic go again card, and you're kind of getting your
because
value.
the instants help fill out your pool. So like Pledge Fealty and Tooth of the Dragon are insane in Fang, but they're not really good in Syndra. So because of that, Fang's pool is effectively bigger, if that makes sense. Is that he interacts with the draconic instant pool better. Syndra's numbers are really, really good. Obviously, she's a ninja, so shocker, she hits hard. Arachne is the tough one. It's just I haven't figured out, and I don't really know what a good Arachne deck looks like yet. We know it's a ton of stealth cards. You need so many stealth cards, but we don't know, or I at least don't know, what if it's like, do you need 4 attack reactions? Do you need 6 attack reactions? Do you need more ways to mark? Like, I don't know what makes a good Arachne deck yet.
Are both young Arachnes represented?
No, it is literally just Web of Deceit.
It's just okay, so it's just the young version of Mario.
Yes, it is just the young version of Mario.
Okay.
So, and you have to use the Huntsman knives, which makes it a little tough because you have to balance when you're going to actually keep those things and when you're not. And you have to.
They break when you just choose to mark with them, right? Okay.
Yep, but you do not have to choose to mark with them, so they can stick around and just be a dagger for 1. But in limited, I feel like you do have to interact with the token dagger, the graphene. Someone called it graphene Cthulhu, so I've just been calling it that. So you do have to interact with graphene Cthulhu a bit, and it's just a 1 power dagger. It costs 1. It has the stealth tag on it, which is really important. And it says if this attacks a hero who is marked, this gets go again.
I mean, so it only costs 1, so there's the advantage there, but you don't get the ability to mark, and you need the mark on them to get the go again.
It not having native go again is a big deal. It is a pain in the butt, but sometimes, like, and that's why I think I want to up the mark payoffs or like the marking cards in Arachne, and that's why I think they're going to be really contested in draft, is because just like
marking is at least 2 of the heroes want the big marked payoffs, and probably Syndra wants some.
Syndra, you do, because your best cards are like the first Tenant of Fire, I think is the name of it. It's a 0 for 3. It's a head jab that just says like your next draconic attack gets +1.
Is it the Fire Tenant strike first?
Yes.
Yeah, when this attacks your next draconic attack, this combat chain gets +1. Go again. Oh, yeah. Head jab that has a +1 next on the next thing. It's very good.
Yeah, and then all the Art of the Dragon cards, and then Dragon Power. All of those are not draconic, but if they are draconic, they're suddenly like super cards. And those payoffs are crazy. So it's like you do want to have like, I felt like I wanted like 3 to 4 ways to make fealty tokens in Syndra, but I feel like everybody wants that like as the floor. Where Fang, you probably want 8. Arachne, you might want 8. I don't know. I don't know with Arachne. But the format's sweet. It's really it's fast compared to what we have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing like Fang versus Arachne, that's probably some of the best limited experiences you'll ever have, because there's so much like attack reaction and defense reaction tension going on there, as well as like, is this the chain link that we're doing it on? Is this the chain link that we're doing it on? Like it's pretty entertaining.
Like the only fast limited I've played since I started playing in Outsiders was Aurora Mirror, and when both KOs sat down and said, "We promise not to block." Those are like the only times it's been fast.
Yeah, and even with KO, you had like such good blocking armor in heavy that like it slowed it down a bit. So this feels a little faster than that. This feels a little faster than a KO mirror.
Okay.
To me.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, it's so like, and it is noticeably quick.
You have any 2-turn games where maybe it didn't immediately end, but the game was essentially over on the second turn?
I had a turn 1 game.
What?
Well, because
did Fang just draw a handful of his instants, and the other Fang just go like, "I've got 3 fealties, turn 1, let's go"?
No, because I had that funny combo, right? I had the Wrath plus Blood Run Steep, so I had a 3-card 15 just built into my deck, and I literally had like the perfect hand for it one time, to where literally it was, instead of me needing the blue to power it all, I was able to go head jab, head jab, head jab, and they were all draconic. Into Wrath, into Dagger, into Blood Runs Deep, bring them back, Dagger. And I literally just like naturally drew it. I arsenaled Blood Runs Deep. I drew my next card. It was the last head jab I needed.
That's like 26 damage? 22 damage? God.
Yeah.
There's just no coming back. You're just toast.
Nope. I felt bad because it was a newer player, and I just looked at him, and I just looked at my hand, and I handed my hand over to Jeremy, one of our other locals, and I showed him my arsenal, and I was just like, I don't, like, I need to send him a sorry card.
He's bullying people.
Like, that was actual harassment, and he was just like, wait, you can do that in this game? What is this? He was losing his mind. So, but yeah, Syndra's a Draconic Ninja, if obviously, but like, what that means to us boomers is your games are really fast.
Yeah.
They are insanely fast. In the Kunai's late game, you want to have enough blues in your deck to be able to just recur Kunai's. I think you want 8 to 9 blues in your Syndra deck, because turns that you don't have a blue are very noticeable.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like Fang can, like, lock out games with his swords. Syndra can reoccur. How does Arachne lock out games?
Good question. I don't know.
That seems so tough. You have to mind game your opponent. You have to have enough attack reactions, I think, that you fatigue them because they have to overblock because you're sitting with the attack reaction in your arsenal.
So to me, it feels like how in Rosetta, how like if you tried to play Acilio or Verdance in sealed, it was almost always the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whereas like you should be playing Florian, and then if your Earth pool sucked, you play Aurora, because then you have access to the Rune Champ pool. Right? It was like kind of how that format broke down. Like the Earth pool is really strong, obviously, but like you had that idea. But then once you got to draft,
yeah, so many things changed.
Yeah, like things changed dramatically, and it was like 42 Whizbang was the best draft strategy.
I really like 42 Whizbang. I love that. Yeah. So much fun. For like all wizard card verdants, so much fun.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, 42 Whizbang is literally just like you draft every single wizard card you see. You don't care if it is a red, a yellow, or a blue. If it says the card wizard at the bottom, you grab it, because that puts the 4 people after you all on Runeblade.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
And then you draft like 4 blue earth cards and like 2 decomposed cards, and then you just go to town. Like your cards just block for 4 because you've got the blue earth cards, and you give the +1 to your spell, and it hits, and you make an embodiment earth. That deck is so much fun.
Yep. And all you need is the 2 people to your right not doing it as well.
Oh, dude, it's so great when like someone feels safe and they're at like 10, and you go amp 7, go again, and then another 4, and they're like, oh, I'm dead.
Yep. So But yeah, so I think once we get to draft, Arachne is going to look pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think you need the right pool to pull off Arachne. I know it starts with danger digits, but after that, I don't know what it is. And yeah, that's about as far as I got with Arachne. I think I want some number of Black Widows.
How good
I think
is
I
put
want
into
some.
context? That's a common. Seems pretty strong.
Put into context, is that the one that's like the 0 for 4?
It's a blue 0 for 3 generic defense reaction. This can only defend an attack with 3 or less
Oh,
space. Card
dude,
seems
that thing is
cracked.
pack one, pick one.
Yeah, I was about to say that the fact that it's
That
blue.
thing is, yes. That like that is a legitimate pack one, pick one card, and it's not the strongest card in the set, don't get me wrong. But because it's specifying base power, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's able to cover everything, but it's a blue block 3 that's a defense reaction versus the 2 heroes that you need to defense react against.
It's also a blue you don't mind putting in your arsenal. Most blues that you get stuck with, yeah, you're just like,
Yeah.
I gotta hold this.
No,
Because
that
if you put a blue in your arsenal in limited, a lot of times you just die with it.
yeah, you just lose. So but Fang, I don't think I've talked enough about Fang yet. How Fang feels in limited is actually very similar to constructed. You're pitching a blue at a turn to go like dagger, 0 cost pump, dagger, 0 cost pump, or 1 cost pump
Mm-hmm.
to just like get your fealty tokens online. So like it's very common for you to go like dagger, pledge fealty, dagger, endear devotion. Cool. We got 2 fealties that turn.
Playing
Good
a
job.
lot like kind of like Kasai, where you're trying to do like
Almost, yeah.
sword swing, do something,
Yeah.
sword swing, and try to like essentially force a hit to get a gold token.
Yeah. You're using your first dagger to read like how your opponent's handling it, because like you swing your first dagger and they block with a card. It's like, all right, cool, you don't have a defense reaction
Mm-hmm.
because you can always sidestep, right? Because like I could just play one of the instants, that dagger goes to 2 as opposed to 3 or 4. And then now I'm fighting you on the second dagger for like a lot of damage, you know. But if they don't block the first dagger, then you just could get in there because it's like, all right, well,
So how good is up
you didn't
6 in
block it.
limited? Seems it's really
Up 6 is still
crazy.
very good.
Okay, that's what I
Yes.
thought.
Up 6 is still good.
By the way, if anyone
It's
doesn't know, that's the card that got Ira's Zephyr Needle ban.
oh yeah, that happened last week.
Yeah, that did. We didn't talk about it
We'll
at
talk
all.
about that in a
That's
second.
what got Zephyr Needle banned.
It
Up
is
6.
yes. We'll talk about up 6 in a second.
Up 6 in a run is 0 for 4 essentially, but it's a non-attack ninja assassin action. It says you may retrieve a dagger. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4. Go again. 2 block. Really strong. Retrieve is a new keyword, by the way. You pay 1 to equip a dagger from your graveyard, and that's why Zephyr Needle got banned, because you get screwed if you block it, and you get screwed if you don't block it. Like, it just didn't matter.
Yeah. So red up 6 plus blue was Zephyr Needle for 2. Flick Zephyr Needle. So we're 3 damage so far.
Mm-hmm.
Play up sticks. Grab Zephyr Needle. Zephyr Needle for 4 plus 2 plus 1. Right, from the Ira buff, and it was a 1 or 2 card 10.
So this seems pretty important for limited, for Mario.
Yes, I think it's a very big deal for Arachne, just because you need some way to bring those daggers back, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like your ways to mark in Arachne, you have it on the board, which is better, but obviously it's an expendable resource. I think that is a deck that, as the draft format goes on and we get more comfortable with this draft format, I think he will perform better and better. But out the gate, he's going to struggle.
And I think even in blue, I would play this in limited, if I were playing.
Absolutely, no, you played in every color.
So good.
I would, if it's a bad pack, I would pack one, pick one of yellow.
And it just synergizes so well with danger digits, which, as you said, is one of the better arm pieces to pull up. You get that guaranteed 1 damage, and you'll get it back.
And even if you pull it in Syndra, like sometimes Syndra can work off 2 resources, and now in the late game, I have a head jab.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a leg tap because I got to pay 1 for the kunai.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just really, really good card. All the pumps are good. All shocker, every single 0 for 4 in the format feels like a 0 for 4. Like when someone plays, what's the twist and turn card?
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? It's a 0 for 4 pump and warrior. It's twist something.
Yeah, twist and turn's correct. You had it.
Nice. Okay, I do know the names of this set. when someone plays twist and turn into you and it's a 0 for 4 that just says like if this dagger hits it, it can swing again this turn. You don't care about the swinging part as much, but you do care about the 0 for 4 on it. That
Mhm.
thing hurts. You feel up sticks. Every time a dagger comes in for 5, it's one of the most noticeable things on the
There's
whole entire
so
field.
many 0 for 4s in this set.
Yes.
So yeah, there are
There
a
are.
ton
Holy.
of 0 for
There are a
4s.
ton.
And they're not conditional like
And
Scar first Scar. Like,
no, they're conditional on you doing the thing that you wanted to do already most of
Right.
the time. It is very, very powerful. It is very fast. This will be the fastest draft format we have had in a while.
yeah. Is it even like conceivable to really go to fatigue? Just seems there's too many.
So
I guess there are a lot of defense reactions. I could see like kind of almost defense reaction with value dot deck might try to push games to fatigue.
in sealed, zero shot.
Yeah.
Because in sealed, there are too many ways to do 1 and 2 pings between like arachne daggers that you don't pop, like recursive damage,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's enough recursive damage in the game, like Syndra's kunais, all that kind of stuff. In draft, that is something that I am interested in exploring.
I'm really excited to
Because
draft this set.
yes,
Even if it
I think
becomes this degenerate mess, it'll be fun exploring and finding that.
yes, like this will be a very, very fun draft format to explore. I don't know how fun it's going to be to actually play, but like the drafting process and like the theory crafting of the different draft decks is going to be really cool.
And we're kind of running long here, but I want to throw in a topic that I'm really excited to talk about next week.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going to U.S. Nationals and learning draft right then?
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, if you go and look at it,
Yeah, it's like
the world premiere is a week before U.S. Nationals.
The
that's
world
going to be an arms
premiere
race.
of the next set?
Of the next set is a week
Yeah.
before U.S. Nationals.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be an arms race.
So, U.S. Nationals, it looks like will start on the release day of a set.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So speaking of release day tournaments, there's a CC calling this weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to
That
Memphis.
is going to be a mess.
It is. And not only that, it's a double calling. So usually callings start on Saturday. So you would have the Friday to try to collect cards. That is not true. The CC calling starts on Friday. Like literally the morning the set comes out, the calling is starting. So that affected my choices, by the way.
I am so scared of this CC calling. Like, if you've been testing the format a lot, like before the needle, so something that happened this week was Zephyr Needle got banned. It needed to happen. Ira was a problem between dual threat, upsticks, the new like basically all the Scar for Scars that she now has that become 0 for 5s because of Ira's text box. She just became the best aggro deck.
Easily.
Yes. And it like wasn't particularly close.
Yep.
Because getting to add 2 value a turn is a big deal. And now she no longer has needles. She is still a very good deck. Anybody who thinks that she is outside of the top 5 is out of their mind.
Yeah,
She's so strong.
It clearly hurts her, right? It takes away approximately 2 value per turn because she was trying to swing with the Zephyr Needle twice a turn.
Yeah.
But I don't think it did a lot. I think Flick Knives Ira is still going to be one of the most impressively performing decks in the upcoming season.
Yes. I still think Zen is our top dog for.
He wasn't the best at first, but now I think he is the best after the Zephyr Needle ban.
What? I think he's our top dog for 9 more days. Is that how the math works? 10 more days?
Are you
whatever the end of week 1 is. No, we got to go to Sunday, so 12 days. Yeah.
So you think he's going to Living Legend this weekend? I think he is
next weekend.
Next weekend.
Week 1. Yeah, week 1 of RTNs. Yeah.
By the way, which is coming up. That's going to be our next week's discussion is Road to Nationals.
Yeah. So I think Zen is still our top dog. Assassin is your second. It's like Assassin, Ira, and Viserai is kind of like what I think rounds out the top 5. It's so like because all the assassins are like actually aggro decks now.
You go away. I'm so tired of dealing with him.
Dude, it's so funny because like this right actually gets hated out by a decent number of things now, but it doesn't matter because suddenly once we figured out the new matchup, that same logic just applied to all the new assassins, and they are 21 or less blue decks, where new is a 30 blue deck, and you can just rune chant them to hell. And yeah,
It's
so
so crazy. If they printed Viscera as a hero now, he would probably have 35 life. Like, imagine
maybe.
having Ira on every card past the first card.
Well, dude, he was so bad for so long. I
No,
don't
he
mind it.
wasn't bad. Runeblade cards were bad. Now Runeblade cards are getting
Yeah.
pretty good. So he is very, very strong.
Yeah, no, he's strong, don't get me wrong, and he will be gone soon, my sweet prince. I gotta get him, I gotta get on the board for him. But yeah, I think that's gonna round out our top five. I think Riptide and Jarl are very interesting picks for this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
as like you have this established meta game of a lot of attack reactions. We haven't talked about Syndra. I think she's okay. Fang is good. Fang is like a top 10 deck, but the issue is being a top 10 deck right now is like, woo, you know? It's like, okay, well,
I think there's just
it's
such a
it's
large gap for the top three or
yeah.
four.
Yeah. I think he's our best on-release warrior we've ever had, and you can build him straight out of Hunted.
Yeah, which
Like
is
you can
really cool.
play 0 new cards, and you could build 80 cards out of Hunted, and well, 70 cards out of Hunted plus equipment, and he is sweet. Like you can play him, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, the stuff on the top right now is really powerful.
All right, I think that wraps up our episode for this week. Unless anyone's got any closing remarks.
Not yet.
All right.
It comes
I forgot
later.
to tell
No,
the
you
I
have
forgot to tell
homework to do.
the
By the way, no, you have homework to do. He might be at Memphis. I will be at Memphis. That means you need to watch Memphis.
yes.
Oh, that's right. I will be watching Memphis because I probably will not be at Memphis. I don't plan on it,
I forgot
but
to
I will
tell
be watching
the shelter
Memphis.
story real quick.
Go ahead.
Jose, one of our locals is notorious for just like opening crazy at pre-releases. Like he opened EA Kasaya. The one before that, he opened up what was it? It was the Fabled for oh, he had no, he got the special Enigma pack,
Mm-hmm.
the New Moon pack, and then the one before that, he got like Cold Foil Grains or something like
And
that out
then
of
2 weeks
So
ago, he needed flick knives and got
yeah,
the last
just
pack in
open
the
flick knives.
store and opened flick
Yeah.
knives.
So the first night he opens up a regular non-foil shelter, EA or Marvel Redback um, agent,
Mm-hmm.
and something else. I think it was like Kiss of Death. I was like, all right, sweet, good job. But nobody around him pulled anything good. So the next day I was supposed to sit like directly across from him, and I was like, no, I am not sitting here. I went all the way over onto the other side of the building, right? Like where we could like sit down and try to like open our packs. And the dude who was in that spot got EA Shelter and something else. It was like another Marvel, and I was like, no.
Your
So,
superstition stole $200 from
yeah,
you.
it did, but it's okay. It went, it went to a different local who's a good guy, so we'll take it. Yeah.
Well, that
He
was a
does have
good
some
and
pretty
a little bit of
symbols.
a sad story, I guess.
No, it was very funny. We were all laughing.
Okay.
Thomas, where can everybody find you?
At Memphis this weekend.
That is a good one.
Wet the System Fab on Twitter, Wet the System on Blue Sky, Wet the System pretty much everywhere else.
Justin?
Jebs05 on Blue Sky and Discord, and then Twitter is still J_EVS5 that we try not to use anymore.
All right. And I am at Big Max Fab on Twitter and then at Big Max on Blue Sky. And wow, should be at Big Max on Blue Sky. I'm looking at it right now, but it's got like a weird dot. Well, I'll fix it later and we'll get it finalized for next week. And I'll also be opening up the Hunted polls when I get my stuff, usually like the Tuesday after it releases. So sometime that week, I'll be doing a stream, be on the YouTube, busting those open. So for the channel. Other than that, though, if there is nothing else, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week. And if you did, subscribe or follow depending on where you found us to catch us again next time. Until then, take care of yourselves and remember, we are all siblings in cardboard. And just so everybody's aware, okay, Mastery Pack Guardian's coming out somewhere in the near future. And I know what you're thinking. What does that have to do with anything? Guardian cards just means pummels. Pummels means reading the card, also means discarding the card. So just be aware there's going to be a lot more pummels floating around when that pack comes out. So know the card, read the card, discard the card. Take care.